The islands off the coast of South America in the Caribbean Sea are called Trinidad and Tobago. So what's so weird about that? Well, these two islands come together to form one nation. Once again, there's nothing too special about this. There are many nations that consist of 2 or more islands. Indonesia, an example, is made up of a ton of islands and parts of islands. What differentiates this island nation from others is that this island nation doesn't have a collective name like Indonesia does. The country that consists of the islands of Trinidad and Tobago is simply called Trinidad and Tobago. Why on earth is this the case? Well, first off, let's look at how those two names came to be in the first place. Starting off with the bigger of the two islands, Trinidad. This name comes from Christopher Columbus, who named so much of the Caribbean. When he came across the island, he named it La Isla de la Trinidad, which means the island of the Trinity. And over time, the name was just shortened to Trinidad. So why was it named after the Trinity? What Trinity is he talking about? Well, Christopher Columbus was a devout Catholic after all. The Trinity in Trinidad's name is of course in reference to the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son and Holy Ghost. Columbus named the island this due to a religious vow he made before leaving for his third voyage, where he discovered Trinidad. The name Tobago doesn't seem to have one definitive etymology, but all the possible etymologies derive from the same thing, that of course being tobacco. Like Trinidad, it too comes from Spanish. The Spanish word it comes from being tobacco, the Spanish word for tobacco. So why was this island named after the smokable plant? There's a couple reasons as to why this is the case. The most popular reason seems to be due to how tobacco was grown and smoked by the natives, but I also read the theory that it was due to the fact the island is shaped like a cigar, which I can kind of see. Anyway, that's where the names of these two islands come from. But why is it that when they come together to form one nation, they don't have a unique name, but just keep their own? Well, that has a lot to do with the history of the islands. While both islands were in fact discovered by the Spanish, many other empires and nations ruled over the islands. At first, Spain ruled both the islands. However, by 1797, the island of Trinidad was surrendered to the British and became a crown colony in 1802. Tobago came under French rule in 1781, and this is where France and Britain started playing hot potato with the island. Britain took it back in 1793, France regained it in 1802, and finally Britain reclaimed it once again in 1814. Now, both islands were under the rule of the British Empire, but being controlled as two separate entities, and both prospering. However, Tobago's prosperity started running dry due to its sugar industry coming more or less to an end because of the abolishment of slavery. No longer able to support itself, the island of Tobago joined up with the still prospering island of Trinidad to form the single crown colony of Trinidad and Tobago in 1888. And this is how the island nation was all the way until 1962, when the nation gained independence from the British Empire, and in 1976 officially becoming the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. While free of British rule, they however still kept the name that the British used for their crown colony, not picking one name to reflect both nations, but just stuck with Trinidad and Tobago, the single nation with two names. Trinidad and Tobago was suggested by Angela Pierre over on Patreon, and thanks to their suggestion, they will now be honoured as Name Explain's patron saint of Trinidad and Tobago. If you want to become a Name Explain patron saint, then why not support the channel on Patreon? Just $1 and up earns you the chance to suggest a country or geographical location on the Wednesday patron saint suggestions post for the next patron saint video. And of course, thank you to all my patrons. These extra Tuesday videos are dedicated to all the awesome people who make Name Explain possible. So if you enjoy these videos and want to be a greater part of our Name Explain community, then why not support the channel? Just $2 a month gets your name here with all these awesome people. Thank you.